6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Romesh Piris and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that the late prelate, Most Venerable Balametiawe Kusala Dhammathera, rendered a yeoman service to the nation. Inter-provincial bus and train services to commence from tomorrow. The Ministry of Health says 317 patients infected with the coronavirus have recovered and discharged within the last 24 hours. The Health Minister says EU 70% of the country's population vaccinated. Sri Lanka's vaccine certificates now recognized on entry to UK. Farmers in several areas commence cultivation for the Maha season. News overseas, the G20 in final push to reach deal on climate at Rome summit. In sports athletics, the Asian gold medalist Gayantika Abeyaratne sets 2 new records at the 99th National Athletics Championship. And those are the headlines. The funeral of late Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya, Chief Judicial Prelate for the 2 regions of Colombo and Chilau, and the chief incumbent of the Paliyagoda Vidyalankara Pirivena, Agama Pandit Dr. Most Venerable Velametiawe Kusala Dhammathera, was held this evening with full state patronage and full state honour at the Independence Square. Today has also been declared a day of mourning. The condolences message on behalf of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was read out by the Minister of Education, Dinesh Gunawardena. In his condolence message, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa expressed that the late prelate had rendered a yeoman service to the nation and dedicated his life to the betterment and the protection of the Buddha Sasana. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in his condolence message said the late Agama Pandit Dr. Most Venerable Velametiawe Kusala Dhammathera contributed immensely to uplift the Buddha Sasana and worked closely with the Trinikayas. The leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, said the late prelate Agama Pandit Dr. Most Venerable Velametiawe Kusala Dhammathera lived as an exemplary life and worked tirelessly to enrich the younger generation with Dhamma teachings. General Manager of the Railways, Dhammika Jayasundara, says the inter-provincial trains will be operated from tomorrow. He informed that the train services are being provided following the health guidelines given by the government, and the passengers travelling on the trains should follow the proper health guidelines. Jayasundara further said that there are about 152 inter-provincial trains, and office workers as well as the general public can use the trains for travel. Passengers will also be able to obtain train tickets through the ticket counters. Meanwhile, the Special Committee on COVID-19 Control, which met on Friday, decided to remove the travel restrictions between the provinces, which became effective in the country after 4 a.m. today. The Ministry of Health says that another 317 patients infected with the coronavirus have recovered and have been discharged within the last 24 hours. This increases the country's total COVID-19 recoveries to 512,798, while 14,008 infected patients are currently undergoing treatment across the country. Sri Lanka has so far registered a total of 540,531 confirmed cases of the virus and 13,725 related deaths. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Health Minister Dr. Keheli Rambukwala told a group of European Union officials earlier in the week that 70% of the country's population has been vaccinated. The minister also pointed out that the population over 30 years of age has been fully vaccinated when the ambassador of European Union to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Denis Chaibi, called on Minister Rambukwala at the Ministry of Health. The European Union, in cooperation with the World Health Organization, donated about 2 million euros worth of medical equipment to Sri Lanka's healthcare system. Against the backdrop of the agitations demanding chemical fertilizers, some farmers have started farming in the Maha season using organic fertilizers. Meanwhile, Dimulagala farmers in the Bakamuna area and Polonnaruwa Mahaveli B zone have commenced the construction of the canals to commence their cultivation activities. Farmers in the Mahaveli H zone are preparing to commence cultivation using organic fertilizer. Sluice gates of several resorts have been opened due to heavy rain. The engineers in charge stated that 8 sluice gates of Rajangane Reservoir and 2 sluice gates of the Angamur Reservoir have been opened. Due to this, the people in the low-lying areas around Kalaoya and Lunuoya have been instructed to be vigilant. 2 sluice gates of Kalaweba have been opened due to the heavy rains in the upper catchment area of Rajarata. As a result, the Kalaweba Akuna Road was flooded. 60 houses in the first part of the Ragalavatta in Nuvarelia have been inundated due to heavy rains in the Ragala area. Sri Lanka has tabled a draft resolution on sustainable nitrogen management at the 8th annual subcommittee meeting of the Committee of Parliament Representatives to the United Nations Environment Programme held in Nairobi. The proposed resolution by Sri Lanka was considered as a follow-up to the resolution adopted at UNEA 4, which provided a general framework to act on the nitrogen cycle. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
From tomorrow, 1st of November, eligible travellers from Sri Lanka with appropriate proof of vaccination will qualify under the fully vaccinated rules for travel to UK. To be treated as fully vaccinated, travellers must be able to prove that they have been fully vaccinated at least 14 days before arrival with a vaccine recognised by the UK, namely Oxford AstraZeneca, Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna and Johnson. The British High Commission in Sri Lanka said formulations of these vaccines such as AstraZeneca Covishield, AstraZeneca Vax and Moderna Takeda also qualify as approved vaccines. And that was top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
This is Watchlight.
The National Water Supply and Drainage Board says a 12-hour water cut will be in effect in several areas in Gampaha due to pipeline maintenance along the Kelaniya-Mudangoda New Kandy Road. Accordingly, the water supply will be disrupted to Biyagama, Delgoda, Udupila, Akurumulla, Keragala, Kaduboda, Dekatana, Dompe, Naranwala, Veliveria and Ratupaswala from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines first, G20 in the final push to reach deal on climate at Rome summit. World gathers amid calls to avert climate disaster. The Lebanese president says he wants best relations with Saudi. And those are the headlines of the world news. The leaders of the world's richest economies will spend today trying to reach a meaningful deal on preventing climate change. The G20 is hoping to make progress ahead of the COP26 summit in Glasgow, which begins today. However, they have yet to announce any firm new commitments to reduce carbon emissions in the coming years. The G20 group, made up of 19 countries and the European Union, accounts for 80% of the world's emissions. The United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26, begins today in Scottish city of Glasgow, accompanied by drastic warnings from the scientific community of an escalating climate crisis. Delayed by a year because of the COVID-19 pandemic, COP26 aims to keep alive a target of global warming at 1.5 centigrade above pre-industrial levels, the limit scientists say would avoid its most destructive consequences. Beginning today, the conference needs to secure more ambitious pledges to further cut emissions, lock in billions in climate finance. Lebanese politicians are scrambling to resolve a diplomatic pact with Saudi Arabia and other Gulf nations after United Arab Emirates followed Riyadh with measures against Beirut to protest against comments by a cabinet minister about the war in Yemen. The national news agency reported that President Michael Aoun said he was keen to establish the best relations with Saudi Arabia, while cabinet ministers held a crisis meeting to address the escalating diplomatic row. That's World News.
Development News.
An agreement was signed between Hambantota International Port Group and Lanwa Sanstha Cement Corporation Private Limited to establish a conveyor belt and 2 ship unloaders within the port premises to handle and deliver raw materials required for their cement manufacturing plant at the Mirijawala BOI zone. The new cement manufacturing plant, which will have an initial capacity of 1 million metric tons, is due to commence production by January next year. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Athletics. Sri Lanka's Navy's leading women sailor Gayantika Abiratna has set 2 new Sri Lankan records in women's 1,500 metres and 5,000 metres at the 99th National Athletics Championship held at the Sugadasi Indoor Stadium. The Asian gold medalists set these 2 new records in respective events held on the 30th and 31st of October 2021. Accordingly, Gayantika Abiratna set the new national record in the women's 1,500 metres in 4 minutes and 9.12 seconds, beating Nimali Lianarachi's previous record of 4 minutes and 15.86 seconds and set in 2019. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Ceylon Bank PLC announced a profit after tax of 3.2 billion rupees in the 9 months ending September 30th, 2021, reflecting a 45% increase over the corresponding period last year. The bank's net interest income grew by 14.76% to 17,068 million rupees during the period under review, announcing a robust growth as the industry overcomes the prolonged impact of the pandemic. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka stocks touched a fresh record closing high on Friday, but foreign investors sold around $2 million worth shares a day after Moody's rating downgrade near a default grade. Foreign investors on Friday sold a net of 403.1 million rupees worth of shares. The market has suffered a net the foreign outflow of over 45.5 billion rupees so far this year. Expo Lanka, which accounted for nearly 25% of the day's turnover, ended steady.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
The Met Department says the low-pressure area is still persisting in the vicinity of Sri Lanka. Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the northern, north-central, northwestern, eastern and Uva provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere, especially during the evening or night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the northern, north-central, northwestern, central, Sabaragamuwa, Uva and western provinces and in Trincomalee district.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
Before we wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that the late prelate, Most Venerable Velamiti Avi Kusala Dhammathera, rendered a yeoman service to the nation. Inter-provincial bus and train services to commence from tomorrow. The Ministry of Health says 317 patients infected with the coronavirus have recovered and discharged within the last 24 hours. The Health Minister tells EU 70% of the country's population vaccinated. Sri Lanka's vaccine certificates now recognized on entry to UK. Farmers in several areas commence cultivation for the Maha season. With that, we conclude this evening news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and it's back to Chandima Veerakon to keep you company with the rest of the programs this Sunday evening.